Well, it's been a while there, Sasquatch.
It has.
You've been jumping on and doing some over-unders in the Hot Prop and Locket on the Fantasy Chairmen podcast.
Yeah. I'm taking some bold takes on that.
We haven't done a square-off in a while.
I know. We just haven't really figured out how to do this as efficiently as possible post-draft.
I know. Hey, it's a learning process. We're gonna have fun with it.
I think we got it.
A little busy last weekend with you getting hitched and all, too. So.
That's right. That happened.
Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you.
Squatch got married, everybody.
That's right.
He's a married man now.
That's right.
Apparently he doesn't have much to say about it.
No, I don't.
That's all right.
I never know what to say. Like, I always feel awkward when I'm congratulated. Or, like, when everything was happening and everyone was looking at me. Like, if you're playing sports, you're fine.
Yep.
And you can just, like, worry about the moment. But when you're doing something like that, I couldn't imagine being a musician and everyone just staring at you.
Yeah.
And you're just staring back, I guess.
You don't handle the stage well?
No. I mean, like, if I'm toting the rock or if I'm shooting a hoop or something and you just, like, I guess it's just an ADHD technique. You completely forget that anyone's even watching you.
Then you're just fine.
Yeah. But not like that.
As soon as you're there facing the crowd while they're facing you.
God, flop sweat.
And then he's
immediate flop sweat.
Like Ted from Scrubs, man.
Exactly.
Just instant flop sweat.
Yeah.
Well,
drenched.
Speaking of musician, shall we sing?
Yep.
This is a show from a couple of geeks, nay, a man and a beast. And it's not just a bunch of ramblings, it's a show to tell you who to draft and play for your rise to fantasy football power. We dive into drafts and analytics to help with your fantasy. We choose your 4 favorite players and debate their ADP. Yeah! We've held the trophy, been champions, even pay bills with winnings. We've drafted on Sleeper and ESPN to win our leagues again. Rock! Although we're not debating ADP anymore.
Those were good times.
Taking your best start-sit questions.
That's right. Flexing it up.
Flex questions.
Some low-hanging flex.
Ooh. Man. Might need to write a new intro song.
Yeah.
Get the low-hanging flex. Oh, yeah.
Me and Ben are hungry.
Hungry for the flex.
We're looking for a... Okay, we can't do this. We're on the air right now.
Yeah, I was rolling with it.
I
We
know.
could have totally done it.
I'm not an improv guy.
Well, flop sweat and non-improv.
Exactly.
The Squatches.
I'm already married.
The
though,
Squatches
so
and entertainer.
yeah. I'm so good on my toes.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I think we've got 11 good start-sit questions here. Some regarding the flex, others just regarding some like wide receiver positions, maybe some running back positions, but mainly flex.
Mainly just flex.
Who you gonna flex
Yeah.
tomorrow? Week 3 of the NFL, 2020. Man.
Because a lot of the times your starting positions, you're like, okay, these are my studs.
Mm-hmm.
And you lock them in. And then once you get to your flex, it can get weird.
It gets real questionable. I know I've had some issues the past 2 weeks, especially in the big league.
Yes.
The League of Origin.
Yes, you have.
I've had some problems with deciding who to flex. Scotty Miller was a mistake.
Yeah. Mistake.
Mistake.
We need a drop for that.
I'll find one.
Okay,
I'll
good.
find one.
We need the mistake drop.
Yes, definitely. Man. And then Keelan Cole started him in the Thursday night game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins. He put up a stinky 6 points for me. Half PPR.
Wow.
So not exactly what I wanted. But
Yeah.
I did not play him in the flex because you don't play your Thursday night players in the flex. You put them up in the wide receiver spot. Keep the flex open just in case any wildness happens.
Pro tip.
Pro tip.
It's a good pro tip.
Pro tip. Well, before we jump into any of the the start-sit questions here, Squatch. I mean, how you feeling about things so far in the NFL with just the bloodbath that was week 2? And
I'm kind of glad that you asked that. And I want to give one opinion real quick. I'm going to hold myself back for about 25 seconds, but I'm actually I'm upset, and I'm upset with, I want to say, for lack of like a name to target, just like the higher ups of the NFL and the way they planned this. And
not just Roger Goodell.
No, I mean, like, yeah, everyone likes to point at the tip of the spear, but I mean, I just like, everything just seems so, I don't know, just poorly done. And it's like, now after week 2, we don't have CMC, we don't have Saquon. Like, those are the two. I mean, those are generational talents that you really turn on the TV to watch right there.
Julio's hurt.
Yeah,
Mike Thomas is hurt.
Yeah, I texted you this last weekend. Every single position has just about one of these star players hurt right now.
So I think what Squatch is trying to say here, and I'll form this a little bit more for you, is that he's upset with, I guess, just the lack of, I guess, preseason and training camps and things going into the season. Like maybe the season should have been delayed and they should have been allowed a little more time for like conditioning or type stuff,
joint practices,
things
to
like
get the
that.
hits up.
Because I don't know that we can say that we're upset with the way things are operating as far as like the COVID testing and all that, because thus far with all that, it's gone very well.
Right.
We haven't heard of any outbreaks. Everybody's been tested. Everybody's been tested negative on game days. Thus far, we haven't had any last-minute inactives because of a positive test. So as far as the COVID protocols and all that stuff has gone, I think they've done actually quite well.
I agree there, but I think that is actually the pendulum.
But they rushed into, well, just to try and get the season started on time. It was like, okay, get out here,
right?
Start training camp. You can't have pads for the first however long. And so it was like almost 2 weeks before the season started.
They basically bubble boarded the entire league.
Yeah, and they were like, okay, go ahead and throw pads on now. Get a few hits in.
For a couple days.
Before. So, but I will say, as far as the soft tissue injuries, which we are seeing like an absolute ton of right now, hamstrings and things like that bubbling up, I think that is directly correlated to some of this stuff, whereas some of the, like Saquon's ACL, I don't know that you can contribute that to lack of preseason, things like that. I think that's just, if your knee goes one way and you just have a freak thing, that just happens. If you get rolled up on like Mike Thomas did, and you get a high ankle, I mean, that stuff just happens. You know what I mean?
Have you ever rolled an ankle and not been so bad, and then and it be because I've been playing, and then like, oh, I'm going to play a pickup game I haven't played in a while, and barely tweak it.
It just depends on the severity. I mean, I guess you could say that like the muscles around those areas and things like that probably aren't quite conditioned well enough to be able to hold up stronger, I guess, than what they are right now. But at the same time, I mean, these guys are working out constantly. They're freak professional athletes. So when it's some of those types of things, I think it's just going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
CMC, high ankle sprain. But yes, I will say that I think all the hamstring issues, because there are so many hamstring issues right now. So many hamstring issues. I think all of that is directly correlated to not having enough work in the preseason or even in training camp before. And it was predicted by many people that there was going to be a lot of soft tissue issues.
Well, I even think that the knee is functioned by the hamstrings and the...
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, absolutely. You've got, all your tendons and the muscle and thing all around those areas that are
all that quick
helping
twitch,
strengthen that joint, and so that it won't easily go side to side. So there could be the argument made. With freak things like that, it's hard to say that, well, was it really because of this, or was it just, it just happened.
Well, yeah.
Because if you get hit so hard in the knee or whatever, I don't think it's going to matter how strong your quads are. I mean, Saquon's still got freak quads.
Yeah, but none of them really got hit in the knee.
Still just happened. And so, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes with those non-contacts too, we see them every year. Yeah. So it's, I don't know. It's hard to say, but I will say
I'm upset.
That Squatch is upset.
Mike Thomas, CMC, Saquon, Nick Bosa. This is why we watch the game.
Well, yeah. Half the Niners.
Yeah, half of the It's just
half the Broncos.
Yeah, exactly. Like, some of this stuff is just physicality, like you said, but I don't like the hamstring stuff, the cramping.
We have seen heavy injury weeks before too, but it just felt like
this
nothing
has never happened. Like
it just felt like nothing of this caliber.
No, this is insane.
Before and man, it definitely had to do with the names that were involved for sure too. When you see
big workload week 2 names,
when you see the top 2 picks of most drafts just go down, one on IR for the season and then one 4 to 6 weeks on temporary IR now.
Over a quarter of the season.
It's
a number 1 pick.
It's ugly. Yeah. It's ugly and unfortunate, but
let's flip the script.
You know what? We must press on.
We do. Yeah.
We must press on, and we've got to decide who to start, and who to sit. And part of that is because of these injuries now. Yeah. So we've got definitely some fill-ins involved in the flex questions that we've got coming up for you guys. And the way this is going to work, so we're going to try something different because we're not debating average draft position or anything right now. So we're going to kind of run through rapid fire style, and Squatch and I are going to give you the question of between who should I play here, who should I play here, and on 3, we're going to give you our answer. And if we agree, then maybe we'll talk a little bit about why we think you should start that person, and then we'll move on to the next one and give you a 1, 2, 3. And if we disagree, then we're squaring off. And we're going to convince you why you should start the guy that I think should start and why you should not start the guy that Squatch thinks you should start.
If we agree, we pretty much figure that you guys probably agree too. So,
well, if we agree, we're saying, hey, start this person.
Must be
over this other person, according to the questions that we got here at the Fantasy Chairmen podcast headquarters.
Right.
All right. That being said, ready to jump into the flex questions?
I am ready.
All right. Fantasy Sasquatch. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
So we had some questions sent in on start, sit, and flex questions, and we are going to go through those now. We've got 11 of them here, I believe. So hopefully, if you're listening to this will help you. Or if you were one of these questions, make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah.
So that you know who to start. Could be listening to this Sunday morning.
Because we featured your questions, so you better at least listen.
Right before the games. So, all right. So we're going to go through this. I will read off who the question is between, and I'll count us down.
Hopefully we don't disagree on every question, or it's going to be an hour-long thing.
Yeah, this could end up being a real long Sasquatch Square-Off here.
Yeah.
But we'll do a 1, 2, 3, and we'll give you our choice on who to start. And if we disagree, we're going into the Square-Off. We're lacing up. We're lacing up.
Let's do it.
Squaring off. All right. Get myself prepared here. All right. Our first flex question here is John Brown versus the LA Rams or Dallas Goedert versus the Cincinnati Bengals. 3, 2, 1. Dallas Goedert. Oh my gosh.
We are going to have an hour-long episode.
Already. Oh, wrong button. Oh, no.
Wrong drop. Okay, who's first?
Hold on, I got to try it again. There we go.
That one worked.
Jeez.
I love it.
It's been a while since we've squared off. I'm a mess right now. All right.
Fun.
Go ahead and take it here, John Brown. You get 90 seconds.
Okay.
Ready, set, go.
Boom. Okay, first 2 games of the season, I just want to talk about. Everyone's talking about, oh, he's going to have some serious regression and he's not going to be very relevant. In the first 2 games of the season, John Brown has, number 1, had at least 6 targets. Number 2, had a total of 10 targets in week 1. Number 3, had a touchdown both weeks. And number 4 is playing over 90% of the snaps in Buffalo. So this is great for him. The whole Diggs thing, I think the fade is Cole Beasley, honestly, as of last year, but Smokey is eating this whole thing up. And if he's playing the Rams, Diggs is going to have a tough time against Ramsey. He's good, but I don't know if he's that good. Ramsey's a shutdown.
Man, Josh Allen has been on a tear. I'll give you that.
Uh-huh.
He's been on an absolute tear.
Yeah.
Is that your argument there?
That's it.
Okay. All right. We'll hit the bell.
That's all I need.
That's all I need.
Right to the kisser.
All right. Well, let me get started on old Dallas Goedert here. And begin. Well, we all know the situation with the Eagles right now, and they have no wide receivers.
They're stacked at wide receiver.
They have no wide receivers. I think Deshaun Jackson, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Greg Ward, maybe?
KJ Arthega.
Oh, gosh, don't even get me started there. All right, so that being said, your lead pass catchers there for the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert.
12 sets.
And who is the number 1 tight end there right now?
Zach Ertz.
Is it though? I'm pretty sure Dallas Goedert is leading in targets over the past 2 weeks right now.
Recency bias.
Carson Wentz loves him some Dallas Goedert going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are just a Swiss cheese defense.
Oh.
There's going to be no stopping Ertz or Goddard. So I just, with nobody else to throw to, going up against a terrible, terrible defense, you got to start Dallas Goedert this week. He's going to see probably 10 targets, if not more, with just the wide receiver options that are there for Philadelphia. I think Dallas Goedert is definitely the go-to play against Cincinnati Bengals defense. I know it's weird starting 2 tight ends, but guess what? With as many targets as he's receiving, he's more than just a tight end.
You went over your time.
I used my full time. Oh, man. That's good stuff. Start Dallas Goedert over John Brown for sure.
If you want to lose. So easy.
Whatever, man. Get up out of here.
Okay.
Let's
Let's
see.
see. We got to get going if we're going to disagree on every single one.
Yeah, no, that's very true. All right. Next one we've got Todd Gurley versus the Chicago Bears, or Darius Slayton versus San Francisco 49ers. 3, 2, 1. Todd Gurley. Oh, hey, look at that.
Look at that.
So Todd Gurley versus the Chicago Bears. I think you need to be starting him. I think he's getting carries. He's getting lots of carries. Unfortunately, he hasn't been getting the goal line work or receiving work, which does scare me a little bit.
No. Yeah. Calvin Ridley's getting those.
But yeah, no, for sure.
He's the goal line back.
Just getting the goal line receptions there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. With Julio possibly going to be out, and
Even
if
if
not
he
out,
plays.
at least hobbled.
Yeah, he's a decoy.
I think they're gonna try to control the game on the ground a little bit more here, going up against Chicago, unless Trubisky slings and becomes a shootout. But
Which it very well could.
I just have a hard time trusting any Giants right now. That O line there. Darius Slayton could very well easily go off for just like a deep touchdown catch, but I don't know if you want to rely on that.
You're banking on big play with him. Because last week he gave you a dud.
Yeah.
And that was without Saquon. And now that they don't have Saquon, you can play a dime now. You can go 4 down, 2 linebackers.
Oh, absolutely. And their O line is already just straight trash. Yeah. So I think I think Daniel Jones is going to have a very hard game.
Yeah, hard year.
Even with the Niners being as beat up as they are, like
They still,
I think they're still going to be stingy. They're still going to be getting after the quarterback.
it's a solid culture there.
They're going to be running through that O-line like a turnstile. So I don't know. I'm Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley.
Start Todd Gurley in that. All right, this is an interesting one. A couple of guys that were getting picked up off waivers this week, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're starting either of them, you're probably in a pretty rough way.
Yeah. But a lot of people are.
A lot of people are. A lot of people got nailed with injuries. So this is an actual question here of N'Keal Harry versus the Las Vegas Raiders, or KJ Hamler versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And 3, 2, 1. N'Keal Harry. Yep.
All right. Nice.
Got to go N'Keal Harry. We saw a little bit more chemistry develop between he and Cam this last week. It was Hamler's first game, but we saw him get targeted fairly heavily. I think he saw 6 targets, 6 receptions, something like along those lines.
Heavy for him.
Yeah. Right, yeah. First game as a rookie, and I just kind of want to sit the rookie on the bench right now and just wait a week or so and just see what happens. It's possible Jerry Jeudy doesn't play, but
it's pretty weird in Denver, though. So
you got Jeff Driscoll starting there, and the Tampa Bay defense is actually pretty good. So definitely leaning N'Keal Harry on this one.
Yeah.
I think we'll see at least a lot of targets from Cam.
Yeah, a little more more cushy there
for sure. All right, next one. Ooh, this one's interesting as well.
This one's fun.
Pretty cool. All right, we've got Tyler Boyd versus the Philadelphia Eagles, or Antonio Gibson versus the Cleveland Browns. 3, 2, 1. Tyler Boyd. Oh, yep. Man.
Good. We're on a roll.
All right. We're not disagreeing on everything, so that's nice.
I like that.
All right. What's your thoughts on Tyler Boyd? Why start Tyler Boyd over Antonio Gibson here?
Well, first off, AJ Green's still on the field, which is great, and
just always helps Tyler Boyd.
Yep, his efficiency is maximized by him being on the field. Mm-hmm. Burrow's kind of finding his tune.
Burrow's having to sling the ball like 50 times a game right now, too, because of that defense that's just so awful for the Bengals, and why you should start Dallas Goedert over John Brown. But no, that's
cheating.
Burrow is having to sling the ball like 50 times a game almost.
Yeah, and they still have Fletcher Cox in Philadelphia, so he's 2 human beings. So Mixon's not going to have a fun time running the ball against that front in Philadelphia. So Burrow is probably going to have to chuck it again. Mm-hmm. Fire up your Boyd, your AJ Green, and I like Drew Sample. I like him.
Yeah, could be a good play, especially if you're needy at tight end position.
Philly's they're actually quietly kind of solid at secondary, but they've been they haven't been playing to their potential.
No, they definitely have not. And
the ball's going to be thrown a lot.
I think they're just going to have to be throwing the ball in this one.
Yep. On
both sides. Unless Miles Sanders eats, but
unless he can find some gaps. But
we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So start Tyler Boyd over Antonio Gibson. I'm just not sure that I fully trust Antonio Gibson and that just, I guess, crowded
Antonio
backfield, the way they're giving the running back touches.
Yeah. He's like the Sony Michel of the Cleveland backfield right now. So
Washington backfield.
Yeah.
You mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. They play Cleveland. Yeah,
yes.
You're right. Yeah. So, if you got to do it, then he's really good and he has a lot of potential.
Yeah. We saw him get in the end zone last week, and he led the running back touches, but I would start Tyler Boyd over Gibson for sure.
Yeah. I saw this question and immediately was like, no, this is easy.
Yeah. All right. Now, this next one's not so easy.
No, this next one's awesome.
You got Joshua Kelly, rookie running back for the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Carolina Panthers, or Devin Singletary versus the LA Rams.
And at first you're thinking, what? This is stupid. No, look a little further into this.
You gotta dive into the touches here. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Joshua Kelly.
Oh my God.
I knew it. Yeah, I told you. You got to look at this one.
Yo, you really do. Joshua Kelly had 23 carries last week with Justin Herbert starting against the Kansas City Chiefs. And, Eckler had 16 carries.
And if the Bengals are Swiss cheese, then the Carolina Panthers are, I don't know, popcorn. I don't know.
Just a net.
Yeah, they're just a net.
A butterfly net.
Yeah, they're absolute mesh.
Oh man, yeah. The Carolina Panthers defense has not been good. Has not been good, particularly against the run and allowing rushing touchdowns. They have allowed 6 rushing touchdowns this season.
Wow.
So I think you're going to see just a heavy run game again from the Chargers. Justin Herbert's going to be starting. They're going to want to protect their rookie and just hand that ball off. And, I mean, both Joshua Kelly and Eckler both looked really, really good going up against the Kansas City Chiefs last week. So this is not a defense that scares me. Devin Singletary, you have to worry about. I mean, Zach Moss is out, so he's going to see the majority of the running back carries, but you always have to worry about Josh Allen being the
goal line back.
Being the goal line back and honestly being the carry leader there. I mean,
and
Josh Allen's carrying the ball 15 times a game.
Yeah, and you're thinking to yourself, dude, Devin Singletary finally has a backfield to himself. It's just like last year when he went off. Oh, pump the brakes. He's going against Aaron Donald's going to be sitting in the middle, and he trains with knives, so he's scary. If you haven't seen that video,
I have not seen that.
Oh, the guy that he trains with, he has this thing where he like basically is trying to stab him with knives.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you got to look it up on YouTube.
I'm definitely going to be watching that here soon.
Insane. But no, Aaron Donald is an absolute maniac, and that whole defense is kind of coming back to fruition with what they want in LA. So I mean, Devin Singletary can catch the ball out of the backfield, but I want Josh Kelly against the mesh.
No, that's what I'm taking as well. All right, next one. Ooh, man, a couple of big names here.
Yeah, this is weird for me.
Man, we've got Kenny Golladay, who's supposed to be back playing this week, versus
who is a stud.
Yeah, versus the Arizona Cardinals, or Cooper Kupp, who was wide receiver 4 last year,
who is my boy,
versus the Buffalo Bills. Oh man!
And Buffalo Bills they're stout.
They are.
Their second Tre'Davious.
Their secondary is scary.
Yeah,
Micah Hyde out there.
You got Pat Pete on the other side, but yeah.
Oh man! All right,
let's do it.
Kenny Golladay or Cooper Kupp? 3, 2, 1.
Cooper Kupp.
What?
I don't know. It's weird to say that. It makes me feel sick inside,
dude. So they came out. Kenny Golladay came out and basically said he is not 100%. He said he wouldn't even put a percentage on it. He just knows he's not 100%.
Yeah.
Facing Pat Pete, like you just referenced.
He's a dummy.
I think he's going to be a decoy,
yeah.
A decoy this week. And
he's going to jog
unfortunately, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what he does. But I want to see full-on 100% Kenny Golladay back.
Full-on 100% Kenny Golladay against Pat Pete. You grab the popcorn.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think we're going to see that this week. So Cooper Kupp going up against the Buffalo Bills. We talked. They do have a scary secondary, but I think this has the potential to be a pretty exciting game.
Yeah, I don't think does Tre'Davious shadow or does he stay put on the right side or the left side? I don't think he shadows.
I don't think he does. I think he stays on one side.
So it might be more of a fade on Robert Woods
potentially
because I don't know. You know, it might.
You could see equal coverage, but I mean, Cooper Kupp is just that guy that has the potential. I mean, Tyler Higbee kind of took all the red zone looks and got the 3 touchdowns last week, but Jared Goff does love him some Cooper Kupp in the red zone, and we haven't quite seen that yet this year. But I don't think that connection is gone.
No.
I know the system that they run right now isn't exactly matched up for Cooper Kupp, but I think Cooper Kupp had like 8 receptions last week, or it was somewhere in that range, 6 to 9.
He's
in
still
there. So
I mean, borderline must start.
He's heavily involved, and I think you definitely need to trust Cooper Kupp over Kenny Golladay this week.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's where I got. It's weird to say it, but yep.
All right, we got a tight end question here.
Good one.
So, and this, I mean. This could be a lot of people's question this week, actually, because, I mean, if you're
an early guy and a late guy that bloomed.
Yeah, that people were like, I think he'll have a good year. So, anyway, we've got Jonnu Smith versus the Minnesota Vikings. or Darren Waller versus the New England Patriots? All right, Jonnu Smith or Darren Waller. 3, 2, 1. Jonnu Smith.
Waller.
Oh, no.
Finally.
Man.
I wanted blood on this one.
All right. Let me pull up my timer here.
You go first this time.
I'll go first this time. Okay. Jonnu Smith. We have seen Jonnu Smith absolutely bloom in this offense with the Tennessee Titans. Going up against the Minnesota Vikings, who we talked about the Cincinnati Bengals being Swiss cheese, the Carolina Panthers being mesh. I think the Minnesota Vikings are just a hula hoop. I mean,
yeah.
Their defense is, their secondary in particular, straight garbage. They did just sign Todd Davis at a linebacker. He's not very good in coverage, and they lost what's his face? Their linebacker there. I'm blanking on his name. I'll look it up later. But anyway, we've seen Jonnu Smith just go off. 5 targets for 4 receptions, 84 yards, and 2 touchdowns last week. 7 targets, 4 receptions, and 1 touchdown in week 1. There's no A.J. Brown there for the Tennessee Titans, so you're just going to see Jonnu Smith continue to be heavily involved here. It's not all going to Corey Davis. Okay, it's not all going to Corey Davis.
Going to plug nickel.
Derrick Henry's been getting basically 30 carries a game, and yet Jonnu Smith is still doing this. Jonnu Smith is going to feast. Darren Waller, a little banged up this week. I know we saw him go off on Monday Night Football, but man, I'm going Jonnu Smith all day on this one. Start him over Darren Waller if you got those two.
Good job on your time that time.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
All right, your turn. Ready,
right.
Set, go.
Okay, so I don't really have to do a whole lot of talking because you watched Monday on primetime. Finally, I just am so glad that number one game was on primetime, and number two that everyone finally can just take a sigh of relief, whether you agreed or disagreed, and come to an agreement that Darren Waller is an elite tight end. He is not. He's matchup proof. He is elite, and that applies to this matchup. Initially you hear New England Patriots, it's like, oh no, I'm super scared.
I'm super scared.
Hightower's out. Chung's out. Chung can't guard Darren Waller on Sunday. He can't.
Because he's not playing.
Yeah. So, that's the thing is realize that and then take that into consideration. They have a different strong safety than Chung. And the other thing too is I heard this said on Monday and I'm going to repeat it. Darren Waller is the fastest elite tight end in the NFL. Ooh. Now, as far as that goes, and I get what you're saying.
He is fast.
You don't have to be fast to be a good tight end. Okay, great. But he is elite on out routes and on basically a lot of the coverage that he gets is linebackers and strong safeties, and the routes that he's given, which is just perfect for his style. He comes straight up to him and then goes one way or another, and these guys can't keep up with him. He's tearing them up. Janoris Jenkins went home crying last week, and Janoris Jenkins is good. You would do that.
I would do that.
Darren Waller, man, leave him and don't touch him.
This is why I have the button, so I can do that to you. You can't do it to me.
Good. That sounds fair.
You didn't even mention how often he's gonna get targeted this game. So
Darren Waller?
Yeah. I'm just gonna help you out a little bit here. You didn't even mention how often he's gonna get targeted.
Do I have to?
If you have Jonnu Smith and Darren Waller, and this is a question.
Oh, double them up.
Start Jonnu Smith in your flex.
Easily.
Over whoever else you got, pretty much. Because this was a tough one for me, but I am just, the only thing that worries me about Darren Waller is that he was injured this week.
Oh, that's a vet day.
He came back to practice, so it could be,
it's a vet
could be a vet day. But Henry Ruggs is going to be out.
Bill's going to he's going to try and squeeze the neck of Josh Jacobs. Yeah. That's what he does. He's going to try and do that.
I think if you have a way to play both these guys, play them both.
Yeah.
But if you're having, for whatever reason, you're having to decide between one or the other, start Jonnu Smith.
Waller is my guy. The Walrus.
Going up against a hula hoop defense with Jonnu there and no A.J. Brown. Man. Just saying.
Get doubled.
Just saying.
Bracket Jonu.
Oh my goodness. Okay, next one. Ooh, this is
fun.
Interesting one right here.
Yeah.
So we have
I feel like we're going to disagree on this for sure.
Michael Gallup versus Seattle Seahawks, or Jarvis Landry versus the Washington football team. Michael Gallup or Jarvis Landry. 3, 2, 1. Michael Gallup.
Wow. You went against your own guy.
Dude, I do love Jarvis, man. I do love Jarvis, but I actually was kind of low on Jarvis going into this season. I touted Odell, I touted Nick Chubb, I touted Kareem Hunt, and you guys all give me crap for loving the Browns, but I was down on Hooper, I was down on Jarvis, and I wasn't very high on Baker either.
No.
So,
well, I mean, they paid Hooper though, so they're gonna.
And thus far, what have we seen?
A lot of Chubb and a lot of Hunt.
And and not a lot of Odell, but Odell had a good game. So.
Yeah, Odell.
Heavy targets for Odell.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we'll get off that. Okay, Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup, man. So, Alex and I made this our jackpot matchup of the week. Dallas Cowboys, Seattle Seahawks. Shootout. You've got Seattle Seahawks leading the league in passing touchdowns.
Which is crazy.
With 9. They're letting Russ cook.
Let Russ cook.
But the Seattle Seahawks defense is also allowing the most not completions, but the most passing yardage in the league right now. And so what are they going to be doing in this matchup?
Chucking it.
Just airing it out. Yeah. So I think when we're going through our speed preview on Fantasy Chairmen podcast, Alex and I said start Amari, start Gallup, and start CD Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I will say that you talked about it a little bit when we were kind of just talking about Michael Gallup earlier this morning, that, if you may be worried about him just because of what he's had the past 2 weeks. There's a lot of mouths to feed there.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing, too, think if you're a D coordinator playing the Dallas Cowboys, do you really want to – who would you rather have the ball? A rookie 2 games in, or Michael Gallup or Amari Cooper? You probably want to test the rookie a little bit out of the entire offense and just see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
He's shown up. So now it's like, I don't know.
Well, they got weapons everywhere.
Oh God, it's scary to play them. If they had a defense, then they would probably be bowl.
The Seahawks have been god awful against wide receivers thus far,
which hurts.
And
just to hear,
I think we're going to see. I mean, they've been actually pretty stingy against the run.
They have the personnel in the secondary to do it,
and teams that are playing them have to throw the ball because they've been lighting up the scoreboard.
Bruce. Yeah.
The defense has been pretty good against tight ends. I don't think we're going to see a very good game from Dalton Schultz here.
No.
Not like last week.
No. And Bobby Wagner is going to lock up. Well, not lock up, I'm sorry. But Zeke isn't going to have a great day.
I think we see Zeke have a lower end day. But I think you're going to see all 3 wide receivers here have a good day. And I think Michael Gallup versus Jarvis Landry here for the question. If you sent this question in, definitely start Michael Gallup. Landry's been hobbled by a hip, I think, and
he's kind of the outside guy too. Right now.
Yeah, and I think the Browns realized going against the Bengals, like, how are we going to win games?
Run the ball,
run the ball. Play action pass from Baker, and that could go anywhere.
The Titans.
So it is. It's very similar to the Titans, and then to what the Vikings were last year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm staying away from Jarvis when I can right now.
Jarvis could be the new Corey Davis, honestly.
I know. And it's unfortunate because Jarvis has been so consistent every year of his career. Yeah. So, unfortunately, but start Michael Gallup over Jarvis Landry this week if that is a flex question for you.
Yep.
Oh,
I
can't believe this was sent in, but I mean it's warranted.
And I can't believe we even wrote it down, but it had to be written down.
It's absolutely warranted. So, with Christian McCaffrey out, starting running back for the Carolina Panthers, Mike Davis versus the LA Chargers, or get ready for this, Adam Thielen versus Tennessee Titans. Oh man, Mike Davis or Adam Thielen in your flex. 3, 2, 1. Adam Thielen.
Thank God. Thank God.
I want to see what you get in Mike Davis first.
I'm going to run through this real quick. Mike Davis, he's starting in the same spot that CMC started in. Do not make that mistake of thinking he's going to give you the same output. Mm-hmm. He is not even in the same ballpark as CMC. And he is going to be running the ball into the backs of the guards on that team. He doesn't. Oh man, I'm sorry for anyone that spent a bunch of money on this guy because, like, especially against the Chargers, the Carolina offense is going to have a tough sled.
No, that Chargers defense is stout. It's Joey Bosa's everywhere.
You saw it.
He's all over the place. Yeah. They stifled the Kansas City Chiefs.
He was pissed.
So if you're but I know what we saw from the Vikings last week and from Kirk Cousins in particular.
I get this question.
Impulsively, Kirk Cousins, 9 completions, 3 interceptions, 93 yards was all he had.
To me, it's a RELAX moment for everyone.
I agree.
Honestly, Kirk Cousins the last few years has been one of the most accurate passers in the NFL. And do I even have to talk about Adam Thielen and how good he is?
No, I think we saw Adam Thielen get double-digit targets last week. Yeah. He just couldn't catch them. They just weren't catchable. They just weren't. Yeah, it was just a bad game overall from Kirk Cousins.
Something in the air. Yeah.
And I think, if there are 2 guys from the Vikings that you're going to start, it's going to be Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen. Yeah.
Do not sit Adam Thielen. Do not get cute and sit, please. Please.
Unless you're in like a weird league and if you're in like a dynasty league or whatever and you've got other options outside of Adam Thielen, then okay, sure.
Yeah.
If you look at the wide receivers on my dynasty team, then it might be a true question of do I start Adam Thielen?
But Ben's team is all wide receiver.
Yeah.
So that's why he's saying that.
I loaded up on absolute depth at wide receiver for this COVID year in particular.
Yeah.
So unless you're in a situation like that, you start Adam Thielen.
Don't get cute, guys.
Don't start Mike Davis over Adam Thielen.
Oh my God, please don't do that.
Okay. All right. Ooh. This is a good one.
Yeah.
All right. We've got two stud wide receivers here. DJ Moore versus the LA Chargers, or Terry McLaurin versus the Cleveland Browns. DJ Moore or Terry McLaurin. 3, 2, 1. Terry McLaurin.
Ooh, wow.
Okay, we're agreeing here. So hopefully you guys are listening to this and hearing most of our agreements, because that should be the easy choice for you then.
Yeah, because these are
you're like, hey, both these guys said Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
I'm going to start Terry McLaurin over DJ Moore.
DJ Moore was like a back-end second, early third round pick. Terry McLaurin, you might have got him in somewhere in the 5th round. So
fifth.
It's time to adapt.
Somewhere in there, yeah. There's probably not many people out there with both these guys on their team, but maybe there might be if you made some trades and stuff too. But there was potential to be able to get them both in the draft as well.
Yeah, like one RB and then wide receiver maybe.
If you have both these guys, you're probably starting both of them. Yeah. I would imagine
you should. It's if you want to start DJ Moore, you paid for him.
Yeah,
you paid for him
exactly.
So do it.
So I would imagine that you're starting both. But if there is, this is a question that was submitted, and we'll answer it.
If you want to,
Terry McLaurin.
I'm playing the upside.
If you can only start one or the other, Terry McLaurin versus the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns actually They've allowed 555 passing yards through the first 2 weeks, and they've allowed, it looks like, the most passing touchdowns of 6 through the first 2 weeks. So I think if there's one guy from the Washington football team that you're going to want, it's going to be Terry McLaurin.
Yeah,
going against the Browns here,
and it's just like that. If you have anyone from the football team. I don't want to mess this up.
Yeah.
It's Terry McLaurin. Do not start anyone else.
And he looked amazing.
He is amazing.
He's good. I know he is.
He is going over 1,000 yards this year.
Yeah, he
looked sure with a terrible quarterback.
Fantastic.
Start Alex Smith. Put him in there.
I love DJ Moore, and especially with McCaffrey out, you're going to see him pretty heavily targeted, even more so than probably what he was already. We saw him and Robbie Anderson kind of get a little bit of like garbage time, yardage, and some points there.
And DJ Moore is elite. He is. He just is.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But if it's a question of Moore against the Chargers, like we talked about already,
and,
stingy defense.
And put a name to a face. It's either Moore against Casey Hayward. Yikes.
Chris Harris Jr.
Yeah. So, I mean, either way, it's like, okay, I get what you're saying. DJ Moore's elite. I agree with you. But at the same time, he's going up against some top corners. And I'm going to say top 10.
Yeah.
Both those guys are in the top 10.
Yeah.
And Terry McLaurin's going against Swiss cheese.
Terry McLaurin, I mean, he's probably going to have Denzel Ward on him. Denzel Ward's pretty good.
He's all right, but he's nowhere near Casey or Chris.
No way. And Terry McLaurin's going to be the way that the football team moves the ball this week. So, all right. That is our 10th question there. Down to our last question here. And this was a really interesting one. We've got some cross position going on here.
Alex came in and was like, "That's dumb." We're like, "Get out of here, Alex. We're starting our podcast."
You know what? We're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
This is another one where likely if you have these guys, you're probably starting them both, especially because they're different positions. But there is a world, and again, we had this question submitted. There is a world where you have both these guys and you're questioning whether you want to start them in a flex.
Right. And if you think about this, Diggs, 4th round, if he got to your 5th round, then you got yourself a steal. And Connor, a lot of people went RB heavy, so sometimes he might have gone at the end of the back end of the 2nd, 3rd. So there's definitely a possibility you have both these guys.
Exactly. So you got James Conner versus Houston Texans or Stephon Diggs versus the LA Rams. Conner or Diggs. 3, 2, 1. Stephon Diggs.
Conner.
Whoa.
Let's do it.
Oh, man.
All right.
All right. You are up first, sir.
Okay. So one thing I want to talk about first is just the concept of the Steelers. Tomlin, for better or for worse, he likes to have a bell cow. So he will start one dude and he'll let him rip. Okay. The tough part is, and probably why a lot of people would kind of fade on Connor. And there's actually, I'm not going to name drop you, Kyle, but I guess I already did. That was a tough decision, man. And you know what? Statistics wise, and even next gens, I kind of sided with you halfway. I was like, I halfway buy that, with Benny Snell. Over yards expected. I mean, he's a very interesting guy, but James Conner is like the Alan Lazard of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He does so much work, and like they talk about how much they love him and how much opportunities they want to give him. So last week against the Broncos, he toted it 16 times for 106 yards, 6.6 yards per carry. Okay? Oh,
we can still use that.
Can we? Oh, you didn't tell me.
I know. I forgot to go over the rules.
Oh,
we're sloppy since we haven't recorded it in a couple weeks.
You know what's coming.
Well, I know. It's fine.
Okay.
I will say, and this is just a really quick wicca, that James Conner's, I mean, his stats got a little bit padded there at the end of the game when he just had a killing clock little run that ended up going for like 60-some yards or whatever that was, 50 yards. Definitely added on to his yardage total against Denver there. Before that, I think it was a little bit lower. Because what do you have, 100 yards? What'd you say?
106.
106. So a half of that came from a pretty much garbage time clock killing run that just happened to squeak through the middle of the defense there.
You said this was going to be short?
Sorry. Ready, set, go.
Okay, so back to the reasons that you should start James. You are going to get volume. If you talk about top 10 defenses in the NFL right now, the Texans is not going to be in discussion, maybe even top 20. They're getting torn up. They don't have much. They have J.J. Watt, but, I mean, run away from J.J. Watt. They don't have Clowney anymore. They don't have all of these. I mean, Whitney Merciless even isn't doing all that well. I'm not scared. Start James Conner.
You saw me going for it.
Yep.
Oh, man. All right. Stephon Diggs versus... Okay.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey
Is gross.
is going to
I didn't even start my time.
I know.
I'm glad. All right. It's good.
I don't even. Good luck.
Hey, man. It's, it is what it is. It is what it is.
He is the shutdown corner of the NFL.
You think he might be, but I don't know. Is that truth? Is that full truth?
Money talks. Sean McVay thinks so.
I don't know. Ramsey can't hang with Diggs' routes, okay?
Oh, man, here we go.
Yeah,
Let's hear about this.
Filthy route runner. You ready to hear about it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Leading the league in passing yards right now, Buffalo Bills. Who's just tearing up at the quarterback position right now? Oh, Josh Allen.
Didn't think I'd hear either of those things.
Which wide receivers are just absolutely stomping the league that you never would have expected? Oh, John Brown and Stephon Diggs.
You should start John Brown.
Oh, my God. Oh, who's the number one wide receiver in yardage right now? Oh, Stephon Diggs. In week 1, Stephon Diggs, 9 targets, 8 receptions, 86 yards. Okay? That's all right. That's pretty good. Oh, week 2, 13 targets, 8 receptions, 153 yards, and a touchdown.
Classic
Josh Allen,
Diggs.
just sending it to Diggs. Sending it to him, man. He and John Brown.
They're both a couple of burners.
I'm just saying, you got to ride the hot hand right now. And I know you put out the stuff about James Conner, but like I said, half those yards that he had came from one touchdown at the end of the game, or well, not a touchdown, just a long run at the end of the game. And he's likely to get injured at any point.
Oh, God. Here we go. Didn't Diggs have a big catch, too?
Likely to get injured. Diggs had several big catches. Because Josh Allen just rears back and just launches it. Almost Uncle Rico's it to him.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, yes, he's going up against Ramsey, but the way the Bills are playing right now, you got to go with Stephon Diggs.
You paid for him, so.
You did pay for him. You did pay for him. Man, I will say I did not expect this out of Stephon Diggs.
No.
Or Josh Allen.
I'm so happy for Diggs because he deserves. He's so good. People, I was just sick to my stomach when he was on the Vikings and people were like, "Oh, is he that good? Are you kidding me? He can tear up anyone at any time." Kirk just wouldn't throw him the ball.
So part of the problem I'm having in the Dynasty League right now is that I sat Diggs the first couple weeks because of. This is the problem with having so many receivers.
The weirdness. Because
I'm sitting there and I'm like, who do I start every week?
I'll take one.
And, well, we may talk. But, yeah, and I wanted to see kind of what happened the first couple weeks with Diggs, just see like how many targets he's getting. Well, so far, he's surpassed everything I thought. And so now I'm starting him in the Dynasty League.
Yeah,
so
you have to. I mean,
you have to. Over James Conner.
I would start James Conner against the Texans. That man is going to get some work.
Like we said, though, if this is a question
Deontay
for
Johnson.
you're probably playing in a smaller league, and you probably have other stacked options.
Yeah, you're in a weird league.
If you're questioning whether you're starting James Conner or Stephon Diggs in your flex, in leagues of like, I would say even 10 teams or bigger.
If that's your flex question, then good for you.
Then you probably don't really need to even worry about it too much.
Yeah.
So in 10 team or big, 10 12, team or larger
14,
leagues, you're more than likely if you have both these guys, you have to start them both.
This might be your RB and wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
Very well could be.
Honestly.
Especially after injuries.
So, but for you who had that question,
sir,
start Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I don't know about that, sir. I mean, I am the biggest Stephon Diggs fan in the world. And you know what? Everything is against what I'm saying right now because he has gone off, and it's like it's like watching gosh dang it! I'm pivoting to basketball. My brain is in football, but it's like watching that 3-point shooter that just like comes off the bench and just starts draining. And every time like Ray Allen comes in the game, you're like, "Oh, bro, passing the ball, he's heating up." And like Stephon Diggs is just
he's just that guy right now.
He's like made 6 threes in a row right now. So it's like
he's just hot. Yeah, he's just hot. So
but
you got to keep
Bruce
riding.
Bowen's going to guard him. So Jalen Ramsey is the Bruce Bowen of the NFL. So I mean, it's just scary to me.
I don't know.
James Conner has a clear path to some serious output.
Yeah, you gotta keep riding the train though, man. Keep riding the hot hand.
Are we still talking about football?
Still talking about something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is all 11 of our start sit questions. Our low hanging flex. Maybe we'll have another song. Who knows? At some
Pick
point.
them while you can. Yeah, we will. We're gonna switch it.
We
up.
only know one song.
It's gonna take a few months to know a new one.
Oh man, that's good stuff, and that'll do it for a Sasquatch Square-Off. We'll try to keep coming back to you every week. We weren't sure what we were doing last week.
Yeah.
Like we said, a little busy. Squatch getting hitched.
Yep.
Follow us on Twitter at Chairman Fantasy, at FindFF Leagues, and at Fantasy Squatch. On Instagram at Fantasy Chairmen Pod. Give us some ratings or reviews in iTunes.
And do
we
some
appreciate it.
Thrive Fantasy props.
That's right. Hashtag prop up with Thrive Fantasy.
Yeah.
Find their app or www.thrivefantasy.com. Use our promo code Chairman or Fantasy Chairman. Ooh, knocking my mic around. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hey, Alex.
What?
So when you're on a boat and you're on like a rocky ocean, and you're drifting out to sea, what's the best way to keep your boat like sturdy and just staying still?
Oars?
No, not even close. You throw out your anchor.
Oh, your anchor. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
You throw out your anchor. You know what I like to do to keep my podcast steady and just sturdy while everything else seems to be rocky and wavy around me?
Not oars, right?
Not oars. It's Anchor again.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Anchor.fm. Let me explain. This app is free, completely free to host your podcast on.
Like 100% free?
100% free. And you get unlimited storage for all your episodes.
Unlimited?
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
As Russell Wilson would say.
Yes.
That's right. It's also got creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer.
Well, I'm all about that.
I know. And it also distributes your podcast for you, so it can be heard on the likes of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all of them.
What's not to like?
It's great. You can even make money from your podcast, Alex.
And we're all about that.
And you don't need minimum listenership. So,
that's
good. That's a real good thing. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. You need to download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started.
I'm getting right on it right now.
Keep your boat and your podcast sturdy.